Dan here from Mavic Drone. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the DJI Mavic Air Rocket Quick Shot mode. First, we're going to take a look where to find all the quick shot modes and where you can find Rocket. Then we'll take a look at the different parameters. And third, we'll take it into an editing program. I'll be using Final Cut Pro. You can use whatever you like to make the rocket shot a little bit more epic. And lastly, we take a few versions of our edits, play them back to back, so you can decide how you want to configure your rocket shot next time you're out and about flying your drone. And if you don't know what the rocket shot is at all, here's an example, and then we get started. Okay, so before we get going, I would like you to consider subscribing to the channel. I'm working really hard on making new YouTube videos every single week to educate you guys on drone-related stuff, whether that be editing, drone flying, how-tos, or just like pretty drone videos from my travels. So if you're into that kind of stuff, hit the little subscribe button down below and click the little bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. All right, let's get started and take a look what Rocket Quick Shot mode on the DJI Mavic Air 2 does. So once you have your drone up in the air, you want to make sure it's more than 6 feet above the ground, because otherwise you won't be able to access any of the quick shot modes. Now you just press the button on top of your shutter button, and the third option down is your quick shots. And then you can just scroll down here and find Rocket. Now you have a few parameters here. Obviously, the more feet you choose, the higher it will fly, and it gives it a more dramatic effect, revealing more of the areas around you. So I basically always choose the highest I can do here, just because it's the most epic. So all we need to do here is select Rocket, tap on ourselves, or draw a little rectangle around ourselves, and click the start button, and off it goes. It basically flies straight up, and while it flies straight up, it flies directly over us and then gives you the cool epic top-down view, revealing where you are. So if you're standing like in some sort of really cool riverbed or so, it gives it an awesome dramatic effect. Oh yeah, and I talked about this in my other quick shot tutorials. If you haven't seen them, links are down below in the description. So if you, for some reason whatsoever, ever wanted to cancel your quick shot mode, I mean, obviously you can click the little cancel button on your screen, but you can also just touch any of your sticks and then it will just stop it right there and then. But the cool thing is you will still get the footage that was recorded up until the point you're canceling. So that's pretty neat. At least you can salvage some of the footage in case you're realizing you're about to fly into something. All right, now that we've finished our rocket shot here, let's do a few more examples, and then let's just take it into post and see what we can do with it.
Okay, so here we are in Final Cut Pro 10, and I've got 2 clips on my timeline. As you can see, they're about 45-46 seconds long each. So let's see how we can make these clips a little bit more interesting. So the first thing you want to do is press Shift Z on your keyboard, just so the clips get spread out to the available space here on our timeline. So the first thing I usually do with mostly all of these quick shots is to simply cut off the first couple of seconds, just because I like to start the videos when the drone is already in motion. Like the first couple of seconds, it's just a little bit too boring. So in this case here, let's just take the first 4 seconds, press B on my keyboard to bring up the blade tool and cut that off, and delete. So now when the video starts, the drone is already in the motion of the rocket mode. So then again, I'll find the first maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and I press Shift B on my keyboard to bring up the speed ramping blade tool. You can also go in here and choose the blade speed menu item, but Shift B on your keyboard is much easier. And then I go all the way to the end just to see how long the clip is. So this is 42:07. You can see that right here. So I usually take a look at that, and then I go back maybe 2 seconds, something like that, and press Shift B again. And now the part in the middle, you really want to speed it up. So you can start with just 20x, and again I'm pressing Shift Z on my keyboard just to zoom in a little bit, and that's not enough, so I'm hitting Command plus, just so that we can focus on our first clip here. So if we play this back, it looks cool, but it's still quite slow. So this is the fastest option you have in here. So then you just go over to custom and then you can type any value you want. So if we tried 5,000 and we played this back, that looks much cooler. And then you can also drag these little handles here to more smoothly go in and out of the speed ramp. So if we do this, you can see the speed ramp slowly starts already, and that's quite nice. And if I'm not happy with how long it is at the end, because this is quite short, you can always double click here, edit the source frame, and then you really want to zoom in for this, and then just move it to the left a little bit, and you can see as I do this, the clip grows. That's maybe a little bit too far. Maybe something like this. Double click again to make it go away. Play this back one more time. That looks quite nice. And then the second clip we have here is just me standing on those rocks, and then it's also going into the rocket mode. And with this shot, I may not even want to cut off the first couple of seconds, just because there's stuff to look at here. There's those rocks, the waves are crashing, I'm standing in the middle of it. So this is a neat looking shot by itself, so it's not too boring. So maybe we will go up until here, and well, maybe even a little bit further, and we do a Shift B, and then let's zoom out by pressing Command minus. And then we go all the way to the end, and you can see here there's the waves crashing, which is a really cool effect. So maybe where these waves crash, like somewhere here. So this is where I want the speed ramp to stop and then go back into normal. So, and for this effect, I'm gonna go really crazy here and do 8,000. Okay, I'm gonna do 8,000. I'm just gonna see how that looks like. And I'm doing 8,000 simply because if you just did 4,000, since there's so much movement in the shot, you'll see how the waves go back and forth really in a really jerky movement. It just doesn't look nice or cinematic or smooth at all. It looks weird. So you want to go really fast. Even 9,000, it almost doesn't matter, but you just want it to be very fast, so that you get the idea that it zooms up, but you don't want to see too much of it. Cool. And then maybe what you could even do is just select this part and then do automatic speed. And since this was shot at 30 frames per second, you see we can slow it down by 20%. So now we have our normal start here. The viewer may not even know that this is a rocket shot. And now we zoomed up, and now it's a little bit slow motion, and you can slowly see the waves. And maybe I wanted to stop here. So you just move this a couple of frames over. There you go, maybe to here. That looks great. And then to make this a little bit more interesting, you obviously want to have background music in your video. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna add a sound effect here. And you can see that this part here, this middle part, is like a bit over a second long. So I'll find a whoosh effect, a cinematic whoosh effect. I've got a library here that I downloaded off the internet. And you basically want to smoothly go in and smoothly go out. And you want the majority of the whoosh happening as most of the motion is happening. So if we play this back, it's a little bit too soon. So we'll move this over. I can press dot on my keyboard to be a bit more precise. And if we play this back, that sounds nice. And then the same one here again, but this is a very short transition. So we'll find maybe a shorter whoosh effect that basically fits right in here. And again, you can smoothly come in, smoothly go out. And if we play this back, maybe a few frames to the right. Beautiful. And these are just some ideas that you can do with your rocket shots.
All right, guys, I hope you learned something. I hope you found this useful. Now you know what the rocket quick shot mode on the DJI Mavic Air 2 is all about. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. It really makes a difference for these type of YouTube videos. And also consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. I will see you in the next video, which will come out next week. Until then, have a good one and bis zum nächsten Mal.